Hello friends and subscribers, warm welcome to Daniel's Tech World here on YouTube. This is my technically oriented YouTube channel where I talk about stuff to do with technology, particularly audio and video tech, microphone reviews, you name it, especially if it might work with Ubuntu Linux, then that is good material for this channel. Today I'm going to be showing you guys a XLR microphone that I picked up on Aliexpress for the not princely sum of about $30. I bought this and went for a relatively cheap one because the truth is I don't really at the moment have a major use case for having a gooseneck microphone. I just thought it'd be something that would be fun to have to kind of round out my kit. This is what came in the post from Aliexpress. It's got the it's actually bigger than I expected, bigger than it looked in the product description. Weighted base, 3 XLR output here, and it's got a little button here. This one's kind of operates on a push to speak mechanism, and that goes out in XLR connectivity. So I'm going to do an audio sample, of course, but firstly let's just have a quick peek over the product description. $30, it was reduced from $56, so I figured it was just about enough to get something that perhaps might work well enough without blowing the bank on something I didn't really need exactly. I found this, by the way, just by punching into Aliexpress XLR gooseneck microphone, and I got a gooseneck microphone because I didn't have a gooseneck microphone. Clear pickup, full sound, high quality, and just for folks who haven't put one of these things together before, they give you the part listing somewhere down here. Yeah, so there's basically the microphone is a pole that screws into the base, and I got one that, as I said, is XLR, so it outputs an XLR. So you can, you typically wire these into a mixer, or if you're only using one, like at a speaking podium, you can go direct into a camcorder or something that has an XLR port, or of course you can use a audio interface and go directly into a computer if you're setting up something like a live stream. So that's why I went for XLR, because over a USB gooseneck microphone, which I could find, you have more versatility really with what you can connect it to. And then there's just a little bit of information. It's 41 centimeters. I'm not even going to put a link to this because this YouTube channel is so small that there's no affiliate marketing, and it's basically just search for XLR gooseneck on AliExpress and you'll find it. It doesn't seem to have a specific product name. It's just called SUMD48, right? So even on the packaging there wasn't a manufacturer, so that's why I don't want to link to it, because I think it's just more like a generic product part from this company rather than a specific microphone. So gooseneck microphones, just to kind of talk about them for a couple of seconds, why you might want one. So they're used in two very common applications. I just went on to Google and typed in European Parliament, and the first thing that came up was Nick Farage, who's a bit of a kind of character, to put it mildly. But you can see this is a gooseneck microphone, and they're very commonly used in stuff like parliaments and anywhere where you have a lot of people that might want to speak, and that's why they tend to have either the push to talk functionality or they're centrally controlled, so something like a moderator can cut people off. So you'll very commonly see them in stuff like, as I said, national parliaments or even local parliaments. I mean, the reason versus having, let's say, a bunch of dynamic microphones or condenser microphones on microphone stands would be that they would be quite bulky. So the advantage of goosenecks is they're small, but like, you can get someone without any skill like I'm doing now to just put it roughly to your to where your mouth is without having to kind of, if you're dealing with people who've never dealt with, touched a microphone before, even getting them to kind of angle a microphone stand correctly might be asking too much. So I would say these are kind of idiot proof, and they're relatively slight in terms of their appearance as well. That's another important point. So they're not distracting when you're dealing with something like a parliament where you're trying to focus on the speaker.
But my view has changed of Europe since
And again, this kind of red light is a classic gooseneck microphone feature. The purpose is, and this has one, that when the microphone is live, it turns red. So it's kind of like a tally light in the world of TV studio production, whereby a light indicates that it's on so that the person speaking and the people recording can see that. So that's basically, and one other use for goosenecks, just to be kind of comprehensive here, is you'll see them used like this a lot, and this is actually why I picked one up, because I have actually hosted a couple of things like networking events where people give speeches, and you might want to amplify that speech through a PA system. And again, there's obviously nothing wrong with simply having something like a Shure SM58, the classic dynamic mic, on a microphone stand. But if you have one of these, the speaker can very easily adjust it themselves, and you can build it in to the podium. So that's, I would say, the second thing you will see Gooseneck microphones used at a lot, is integrated into podiums for speakers. And you'll also commonly see, I didn't pick out an image of this, but you'll commonly see two Gooseneck microphones, much as you'll see the US president with speaking into two SM57s. Those are the classic US presidential microphones. The reason for two is just redundancy. If one mic goes off or breaks, when you're dealing with stuff like, critical speeches by world leaders, you don't want to take any chances. So that's why you'll commonly see two Goosenecks as well, used for the same purpose. So with all that introduction aside, let me go ahead now and pull my AT2020 out of the audio interface, and let's swap over to the Aliexpress Gooseneck microphone. So as you can see from the light that's just come on here, I'm just going to bring that into camera so you can see it better. That's the LED light that goes on. The Gooseneck microphone is currently active, and I'm listening to it in my monitoring headphones. So again, they say in the instruction manual to speak about 30 centimeters away from it. And also, of course, be aware that I don't have the windshield on, so the closer protection is probably not as good as it could be. I did have to turn down the levels on my audio interface a little bit versus using the AT2020. So it actually gave a stronger level, although the AT2020 needs a decent amount of gain, I find, to get into the computer. So this one has a bit more levels. It's a bit of a warmer signal, stronger signal out of the box. But more importantly, this is the audio quality, and you can now compare it versus the AT2020. I didn't check whether this requires phantom power because I was putting it into a interface with a phantom power supply anyway, so it didn't really matter to me. But it's probably listed there somewhere in the spec. I might need the phantom power to get the little tally light going, although I doubt that requires that much electricity. And it's got the little mute switch, as I mentioned. So if I'm just going to press the mute switch now, and it should kind of fade out a little bit. Hit the button and the lights come back on. So basically this is what a Gooseneck microphone is. Basically, in terms of sound, it looks like it's a very thin design. So it's kind of like, I would say, a souped up lav mic in terms of its appearance and form factor. And if you have a need for in your audio video production to frequently have speeches at a podium, and you don't want to rig up a microphone, dynamic mic on a stand every single time you have an event, you can just leave one of these, and with XLR output you can get this into virtually anything. And yeah, they're great for that, and they're also used, as I mentioned, when in stuff like parliaments, local committees of any kind that are being videoed, and you need to have a lot of microphones for different people. You can buy a bunch of these. Obviously, if you're buying a bunch of them, you wouldn't get them individually from Aliexpress. You'd be better served going to a bulk supplier. So that's it. That's the microphone, and thanks for watching today's video, and more videos about audio and video will be coming soon to this YouTube channel.